Right, TK's out, you saw the thumbnail, you know what you're here for. So, this is based on one of the prototypes for the gift for purchase tie that I reviewed a little while ago. Link in the corner for that, and yeah, image of that particular prototype on screen. So, I took the base design and made a few tweaks, and didn't adequately prepare the camera for this. Give me one moment. That should do it. And here we have Kopaka, Liwa, and Gali, the Waruha trio. I'm starting with these three because they all have, the same basic build. And now they're centered as well, bonus. And they all have the same basic build, so it makes sense to kind of show off the general body type, and then get into variations like next week with the Akamai lads. So, let's get on with it. Pulling aside two of these for the moment, let's look at Kopaka first, just because he's my favourite. So, the base design, as you saw, had a little over 5 points for articulation. It had forward and back at the hips, ball joint feet, forward and back at the shoulders, ball joint neck. I'm going to take you through the modifications that I made in the order that I made them in. So, first up then, I added the false gear to the back, just to give it a little extra detail. Then I added the clear piece with brain. Next up was the shoulders. So these, and there'll be instructions at the end of the video for all three of these, so you'll see the design a little clearer. But this uses a few newer parts to add an extra axis of movement and give him a lot more range of motion. I also worked out an approximate system of the, what you can see here, the 5. This one down here is the 4 and the 3. Yeah, so the number 3, 4 and 5 connectors, I worked out an approximate system whereby the 4 is the Mata sword arm, the 5 is the throwbot limb, and the 3 is the Mata limb. So everyone has sort of consistently the kind of proportion, or the kind of angles to them that the official sets had back in the day. Couldn't figure out a way of getting a ball joint at the shoulder that didn't feel excessively flimsy. Next up then, I did the hips, which is to use a simple tap piece and Exo Force hand to again add another range of motion by outward, and to add a thigh swivel as well, so you can get some more use out of it. This is mostly because if it was limited to just forward and back, the legs were too limited for my liking. So, finally, I swapped out the hands for more claws, this time with the studs spacers. Just because, I figured that after fiddling with them for a bit, I figured that, they could do with a wrist swivel. They would benefit from that. And they did. So, bringing Gali then. If anything even simpler, she didn't get the new style hands, just because I feel that she doesn't need them with the... well, firstly because she doesn't really need them, secondly because the hook build doesn't super allow for them. If I figure out another way of doing the hook, I might swap them out further down the line. We'll see. And... yeah, wrapping up this one then with Liwa. I'd also like to figure out a way of bulking out the hips a little on Gali, just because, the original set had the pins. We'll see. So, Liwa then, again, same basic build. I couldn't colour match the hands, unfortunately, to either green or lime, so both of his hands are black. It works for him. Oh yeah, Kopaka, the original one, uses a slightly newer part, which does the same thing pretty much as these two 1x1 tiles, but those are easy to combine white, so I just went with those for convenience's sake. They are what will be in the instructions, just because that's what's in the digital model that I'm working from. But if you have the newer piece, you're welcome to swap it in. It does get rid of one of the seam lines. So, size comparison, leaving them where they are, and bringing in my take on Kopaka from a ways back. As you can see, bit of a size difference there. I'll get to more size comparisons in the next one. And yeah, that should about do it for this. I'll see you guys next week with the Akamai trio for the next Small Build Sunday. Roll instructions.